Hello everyone! Hope you're doing well in your quarantine. I have been quarantining for 2 weeks now. It's been very enjoyable. As an introvert, I don't have to socialize at all, which has been wonderful. Anyways, to pass the time, I thought I would make a haphazard YouTube video. I thought I'd give you a list of movies that you should watch in quarantine. If you would like to practice escapism, which is pretending that none of this is happening for a couple hours so you feel less stressed.
You are no longer with us.
The first movie I want to recommend is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty from 1947, starring Danny Kaye.
Now, before I continue with the rest of my hats, I would like you to know how I started in this business.
It all began when I was born, a month too soon in...
Yes, there is an original film of Walter Mitty, other than the one that Ben Stiller made a few years ago. It is hilarious. You know when you laugh really hard and you're in bed because you've been watching movies, you start like sweating profusely? That's basically what happened. It was great. You have to watch it. There's some beautiful imagery as well. It's completely different than the Ben Stiller plot. Danny Kaye is the 1940s/50s Steve Carell plus Jim Carrey, except he can dance and sing and fence and anything.
You were a man of iron with the soul of a poet. You were adventurous, gay, but with a lover's brooding melancholy. And above all, you must show passion. Show passion! Not me, you fool! Now go, make love.
Second movie, The Red Shoes from 1948. It's a British production. It came before one of my favorite films that I've definitely raved about, which is Tales of Hoffmann, made in 1951. The Red Shoes is a classic story of backstage ballet drama. And honestly, it's basically like the original Black Swan, in my humble opinion. Because the ballet dancer eventually does go a little mad, and something happens at the end that I won't give away. But you should definitely check it out. The cinematography, the costumes, the color is beautiful. The first half of the film, in my opinion, is a little slow. And I don't really say that about old films, but it was a little like, meh. But I'm also biased because I prefer Tales of Hoffmann. I could make a whole video comparing Tales of Hoffmann to Red Shoes because they were made and directed by the same people and have the same stars in it. Let me know if you want that. Probably no one wants it. I'll make it anyways.
Mrs. Robinson, would you like to go to a movie?
The next film I want to recommend is The Graduate from 1967 with Anne Bancroft, Mel Brooks' wife, and Dustin Hoffman. He was actually like 30, I think, when they filmed it, but they made him like look really young, and Anne Bancroft wasn't as old looking, so they made her look older. Anyways, and Anne Bancroft plays like this amazing older lady mom that I would like envision myself as, except I'm not an older lady mom. Anyways, it's hilarious, fantastic, awkward, amazing. Recommend.
Hey, boy, what you doing with my mama's car?
The next film, also from 1967, is Bonnie and Clyde, starring Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty, who's one of my imaginary husbands. Anyway, you should watch it. Bonnie and Clyde, fantastic film about two robbers on the run.
Hey, what's your name anyhow?
Clyde Barron.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Parker. Pleased to meet you.
It's lovely. It's beautiful. Beautiful people. Fantastic acting. Gene Hackman comes in it as Warren Beatty's brother, and then also it is the first major film appearance of Gene Wilder, and he's hilarious in it. He comes in halfway.
How old are you, honey? I'm 33.
Definitely recommend. Go watch. Next film is Lolita from 1997. I am recommending the 97 version over the 1962 film with James Mason. I love James Mason and all the cats that he owned, but I think the 97 version of the film does a much more accurate translation of the characters because there is no production code going against what they can show and cannot show. And actually Stanley Kubrick, who directed the 1962 film, was kind of unhappy and regretted making Lolita to some extent because he wasn't able to show as much as he could. And the actress who plays Lolita in the 97 version has this fantastic, crazy kind of energy that fits the role perfectly, and there's a lot of symbolism as well. Go watch.
You're Norma Desmond. Used to be in silent pictures, used to be big.
I am big. It's the pictures that got small.
Number 6, Sunset Boulevard from 1950. I cannot believe it took me this long to watch it. I watched it a couple days ago for the first time. It's fantastic. Gloria Swanson plays this kind of like washed up silent movie star, kind of still living in her past, and this script writer who's kind of failing in life comes and randomly bumps into her estate, and she hires him to rewrite the script, and she falls in love with him, and the acting is so good, and the cinematography and the way the story is told is just fantastic. Highly recommend. Now, most of you probably are going, oh my god, those are all extremely old, so I'm gonna recommend a newer film, which is Okja from 2017. Okja is the film prior to Parasite that Bong Joon-ho made, and it is fantastic. Just go watch it. There's many trailers of it. It's very touching, but you can also see how, like, if Okja is here, Parasite is like here. Like, I feel like he's just gonna keep like making steps up in all the films. I'm so excited for his life. Because I recommended a new film, I'm gonna recommend an older film, which is from 1929. It is Pandoras Box. It is directed by G.W. Pabst. It is one of the two main films that Louise Brooks, the silent movie star, is remembered for. Louise Brooks is this nice lady over here, and she is just a revolutionary actress, in my opinion, of the 20s. A lot of people, when they first saw her in this film, in Pandora's Box, which is actually a play that was translated into film, they were like, she's not acting, she's not doing anything, and that's because the acting was so kind of exaggerated and very theatrical in the 20s, and she just tones it down and just internalizes it and expresses it in a very beautiful and subtle way, and she has this very, like, vixen, impish energy that the character she plays, Lulu, needs and has, and it's just, she's fascinating to watch on film.
You dare defy your mother?
It's my hair.
Not till you're 21. I demand respect around here. Respect!
I respect you, Pop.
Who wants respect from a 10-year-old kid? Kids!
For some other more light-hearted musical recommendations, I would recommend Anne-Margaret in Bye Birdie in 1963. This was kind of her first major film role that got her branded the female Elvis, so much so that the next year, in 1964, she did Viva Las Vegas. And they're both fantastic escapist films, and you can just learn all the Anne-Margaret dance moves that I so much enjoy. And Elvis is in Viva Las Vegas. It's his best musical, in my opinion. There's some other great musical numbers in other films he did, but plot-wise, this is as good as you're gonna get. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it, you know, it's just Elvis was never really given the chance to do a serious film. They all had to be with a bunch of bikini babes and singing and dancing, and that is something he himself was also very upset about, and so because he was upset about it, it upsets me, obviously. And then if you want to contemplate life and death, I would recommend from 1987 Wings of Desire by Wim Wenders. It is a beautiful film. It's in German. It has the actor that plays Columbo in it come and play Columbo in it. But it's a really meta film about an angel that can like hear all the voices and flies around. And then he wants to become a human because he's fallen in love or something like that. It's very beautiful. They remade an American version of it with Nicolas Cage, I think in the 80s or 90s. I don't want to watch it. It doesn't look good. But it's a wonderful film, this 1987 version, so I recommend. I hope you just are staying in, quarantining. I decided to stay in New York instead of flying back home to see my parents because I didn't want to bring the virus accidentally to them. It's a difficult time, but escapism is always there. Also take this time as like a gift to do whatever you want, to do all those things that you said, I'd love to do that, and then never do it. Obviously not things like going to a big party, because that shouldn't be happening right now, but you know, like tiny things by yourself, or like write that book, write that script, draw that gigantic painting, paint that painting. Anyways, okay, thank you so much. Like and subscribe. My Instagram is @AnnMakosinski, so is my Twitter. It's really long, so if you can't find it, it's okay. I had an analysis. I got uninspired and didn't finish it. Maybe I'll finish it during the quarantine, so bye.